the PPM, others who have been with the PNM as well, to create this synergy. And what drives us is this overarching understanding that our work is for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what we are doing. It would be tremendously more easy for some of us to just fall in with the big party or the bigger parties and have that support and toe the line. But we do not want to toe the line. What we are about is fundamental change. We are about challenging those that exist because we feel strongly it is not good enough.
Before I get into to more of what you initially responded with, you just thank those who put themselves forward to serve under the new national vision.
Yes.
By you suggesting that, is this now the end of the new national vision? And if it is not the end of the new national vision, is it that another option would have been forming a coalition with the Progressive Democratic Patriots?
So the structure of which we have agreed to, we see that as the best way forward at this point in time. Everyone has the option to change in the future. For this local government election, this is essential for us. And this is a litmus test, so to speak, for us. We will see how we progress together. It might well be the case that in the future we work with other people as well. Politics is not one that is cast in stone. As I said very early on, we do not hold the ideology of this forever and that forever. I am Trinbagonian forever. I am human being forever. The vehicle that we use to achieve what we need as change in Trinidad and Tobago is less important than that. A new national vision will forever exist within me and within the individuals who understand what we are about. And the efforts that we are making with the PDP encompass that new national vision. It is not a word or a symbol or a color. It is an understanding that we need to make an effort to do different things because what we are doing is not succeeding in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I could go into policy and other things as well. A new national vision, a new vision for Trinidad and Tobago forever exists within me. And on my campaign, you may find me speaking about that vision because that is what I believe in. And I would like to say that the PDP as well believes in that new vision for Trinidad and Tobago, that people before politics, instead of what pertains today. I can draw the example of the city of Port of Spain, absolutely degrading, for people who have seen other cities, other capital cities. Trinidad and Tobago can do much better.
Let's actually speak about that now. What are some of the issues identified by your team and this team that you're working with? What are some of the issues identified that are currently plaguing Port of Spain or have plagued Port of Spain that is also reflective of Trinidad and Tobago as a whole, Port of Spain being our capital? What is, what are the issues that have been ignored that you seek to address and that by extension is reflective of TNT?
You walk down the streets of our main city and you better look to the ground because you are going to encounter faces, human and animal, along the streets, as I did yesterday. Fortunately, I was able to spot it before I walked through it. You walk through the city of Port of Spain and you have to be very cautious with the mentally, disturbed, the homeless, who present a challenge to you even in transiting through the city because you don't know when their outbursts are going to come. you walk through the city of Port of Spain shopping or transiting, because it's a big transport hub as well, and you have to be cautious about your safety, because you don't know if there's going to be a drive-by, robbing, some form of serious crime. Speaking to residents day before yesterday, elder people feeling as though they can't come out of their homes because they are afraid of conflict between communities. So we have in Davis Street, which is in my district, an ongoing whatever conflict that is costing the lives of our citizens. And I mean, I could go on and on, the degradation of our infrastructure, the flash flooding that took place yesterday within, yesterday's rains were a little longer, but sometimes 20 minutes. And you can't pass through the city or its extensions. Unemployment, everywhere you turn within my district and even the surrounding districts, you find young people who are supposed to be full of hope, the engine of your society, strength and vigor, without work, asking, what happening, boy? Yeah, anything for me to do? And I can go on and on. There's a neglect by our city, by those in positions of responsibility. There's the turning of a blind eye to all that exists and all that is degrading. I feel as though those who are in positions of responsibility don't even have the will to make it better.
That's a very important point that you raised there. That turning of a blind eye.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably about to answer the question, actually. What do you think is the cause of that? Because you mentioned young people. In your opinion, the gap between the youth of Trinidad and Tobago and politicians who have been there for generations, in your opinion, do you think that is probably the main cause for turning a blind eye?
There's an apathy for the people of Trinidad and Tobago by politicians. Right? Let me break it down. Apathy is a big word. There's a disdain, a dislike. There is no love from the leaders of Trinidad and Tobago for the people, the average people of Trinidad and Tobago. They are totally disconnected. They have displayed it continuously with their neglect of their responsibility, and they have displayed it in words. We had the unfortunate circumstance that we sat down and listened to members of parliament for Port of Spain and other regions talking about ride bicycle and buy coal pot if you can't deal with the gas price increases. We had people who do not know what it is to not have, to be unemployed, to lose hope, to live in conditions subpar than what humans are supposed to live in. They do not understand. They do not care to understand. They do not visit their electors. And that is definitely one of the major reasons that we are in this mess today. There's a lack of love and care for the people that constantly our electors go out and vote for. And that has to change.
How do you change that? Because yes, there's that lack of love, as you just expressed, and it seems as though politicians, at times I wonder myself whether or not they're out of touch with reality. But how do you change the mindset? Because yes, these individuals are still elected every election. We have one individual right now, her home in Morva has been plagued by issues. She blames a burst washer main not being fixed. She says her member of parliament's office is right down the road from her home, and it's been close to 12 years now that she cannot get this sorted out. she expressed, this is a stronghold, we put you there. These individuals are voted in every single election. So is it that even though there's no love from politicians, that the love from the citizens, or is it blind?
Yeah, it's something that we have engaged, and we are trying to teach this level of self-worth of individuals, this understanding of loving yourself, of understanding the responsibility that those you elect have. But even further than that, if you analyze what takes place in Port of Spain, which has the lowest voter turnout, you find that the People's National Movement win by default. There is not a serious challenge to the People's National Movement in the Port of Spain area. Maybe it's because the main opposition party is based and rooted in a different area, so to speak. But there is the lowest voter turnout in Port of Spain. People have already said by 65% of the electorate not voting that they don't want anything that exists. Many of them are disenchanted with the political system. The fact that what choice do we really have between dumb and dumber or whatever, or heartless and heartless? One of my constituents said mustard and ketchup. They fed up with that, you know. And we are trying to present a real alternative for them in this neglected city, so that they can express themselves, so they can express a love for themselves, so they can express the hope for betterment, so they can express their absolute dissatisfaction with what exists now. And I really implore, I ask of the people of Belmont North and West, and also the wider Port of Spain area and the other places where real alternatives exist. Look to whoever is being offered, see if they have the people's business at heart. Use your political brain to understand that a real challenge and a real moving away will cause even those who exist to act better, to make a better effort. I want to implore our citizens, those who have not voted, have never voted, make that effort. I want to ask those mothers and fathers and others who have voted for other parties in the past to give something new a chance. Give yourself a chance. We know what exists. It is not good enough for Trinidad and Tobago.
What are some of the changes that are needed within the actual corporation to resolve all these issues that you speak of within the corporation setting, whether it be policy, whether it be direction? Do you think that if you are successful come August 14th, that such can still be achieved, everything that you speak of, if you are still under a central government that is not necessarily in charge of local government?
Yeah, and this is something that we have spoken about and thought about at length. The best position for Trinidad and Tobago to be in is a position where our regional corporations in our cities are run by different parties, and our central government, even if it has to retain and remain for now under the control of the People's National Movement. But what will happen is that they will understand that their time is nigh unless they make a serious effort to meet the demands of the people. It's the same people who exist in these smaller districts who make up the electorate for the same general elections that are so coveted by these major parties. It will put them in the position that they have to work. They have to satisfy us. It is about taking back that power and putting it in the hands of the people. Apart from that, when we win the Port of Spain city, the majority of districts, and we are able to form council with others, we would be able to drive policy in whatever way possible with the limited budgets that we have. $30 million a year. I mean, with two years till general election as well, I think it would be increased significantly. We would be able to drive projects to deal with these macro issues that we face in the smaller districts. So, for instance, crime, we understand the connection between crime and unemployment and hopelessness of our youth. We have specific programs that we want to engage in and take those youths off of the street, render them positive instead of what is existing at this point in time. You know, the infrastructure within our communities is in a deplorable condition. I was saying to some of the residents yesterday, I can't promise you your street, but we will go through the entire district and we will deal with what is most necessary first. It's not a matter of this person is a stalwart PNM, so them driveway that get paved, that they need to pave, we will pave it, which they have seen within their district. You know, there are so many things that we can do. We want to drive small agro programs where we can guide youth into this labor-intensive field that is highly productive so that they can feed themselves and they can see an avenue towards change.
This all sounds very well and good, but it does not necessarily sound different to any other political entity, political party that is an opposition.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound much different. So
maybe even a government as well. Everybody talks the talk, you know, kind of. I feel as though the existing party who is in government doesn't even bother to talk the talk. You know, they are in a different dimension in terms of comfort zone. So I haven't even heard, you know, these ideas. But it is a fact that none of them have realized these changes, and they have had the ability to because they have sat in the positions of responsibility and power with the resources. So we know that that is a failure.
Could the Progressive Democratic Patriots be considered as a serious party, as a serious alternative? And I know that's a rather odd question given the fact that you've already stated strongly the ideology, the vision shared by you and your running mates. Could the PDP be considered a strong alternative? Could it even be taken seriously given everything that has happened within the last year, I suppose, or few months, even with its political leader, who says he's the owner of the party?
It is definitely a vehicle for the change that we need in Port of Spain and in Trinidad and Tobago. This is another step towards people owning their politics. And we understand what exists. We need people who are actually going to work for us. We need individuals who are people-oriented, who have that love and that will for Trinidad and Tobago. And I would like to state unequivocally that I've looked across the landscape, and the candidates that we offer for this local government election are the best candidates that are available within their districts. With my heart, with my will, because I could surely speak for myself. Man is extremely deceitful at times. They will tell you the best of things, but within them lies differently. With my will and my heart for Trinidad and Tobago, I will only be part of and work towards the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. And from the time that I see, and I've been part of other groups before, other non-governmental groups, pressure groups, etc., from the time that I see that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are not best served by whatever entity, I will make the first step to deal with whatever exist other than that.
Not that I'm blaming citizens, but in that sense as well, do you think the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago best serve Trinidad and Tobago?
We have made bad decisions in the past. Like I said, when you feel as though you have no option as well, in the city of Port of Spain, people just do not vote. If you look at the younger demographic as well, there's an apathy towards the political system, and that speaks negatively towards what we hold up as democracy. If people are not participating in the process, then where is the underpinning and where is the strength or even the mandate from the people themselves? It is extremely negative that a country will have such low turnouts. It speaks to the total dissatisfaction from the entire process. Mm-hmm. And we need to be more sensible as we move forward. As I appealed before, I appeal again to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We may have made mistakes in the past. We may have made wrong decisions. We may have felt as though, we have no choice. And we are trying at this point in time our very best to offer a real choice for Trinidad and Tobago.
Final question to you. If given the opportunity, if you were given the opportunity, even in the future to come, given the opportunity, would Ford Abu Bakr serve under any other political vehicle?
As I said earlier on, I have demonstrated that the vehicle is not the important thing, the destination. And this is where it is fundamental for me to have a role that will enable this vehicle to go to the right direction. So I know people might go back on my situation with PNM a couple of years ago. If I am part of any political vehicle, it will be to the extent that I am able to navigate, to steer, to help carry that vehicle to the point where it serves Trinidad and Tobago. Mm-hmm. And if that vehicle does not want Fuad Abu Bakr, it is because they don't want to reach to the destination of serving the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Anyone who works with Fuad Abu Bakr understands that that is my goal and that is my ambition. And they have to take that into serious consideration when they court me or when they ask me to be part of whatever entity. Because that is what it is about. Mm-hmm. What other politicians are about, the accumulation of wealth, power, ego, self-aggrandizement, all those other things that exist. Trust me, they exist. That is not what I am about. And I ask people to pray. Pray to your Creator for the power of discernment. Pray so that you can look your proposed leaders in their eyes. Use your brain, think carefully, and understand what they are about. And once you understand that, then you will be able to make, better decisions for yourselves. It is us that will be governed for the next 4 years locally by whoever, and it is us who are, after 2 years will be governed by whoever we choose again for the next 5 years, and that impacts our lives tremendously.
Mr. Ford Abu Bakr, wish you all the very best in your campaign, sir, and come August 14th, let's see if such visions are realized. But for now, sir, all the very best, and thank you very much for joining me on the program this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Keep well, sir. All the best.
You too.
Mr. Ford Abu Bakr, the PDB candidate for Belmont North West. He corrected me this morning. Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a break here on AM Prime. When we return, we'll get into some more topics this morning.
politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing nowadays.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers? Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays.
Only on WASN,
the content capital.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into some regional updates now before we go to WSN's news on the hour, following which we'll have another candidate joining us this morning. A conversation I look forward to, an individual who served the United National Congress for 28 years, according to him, and then immediately issued his resignation. One day later, he's joined the PDP. That's Mr. Safraz Ali. Hopefully he'll join us at 7:05. But in the meantime, let's start now with Guyana. And this is a situation involving both Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. The delays in resolving Guyana's long-standing concerns about its inability to use Trinidad and Tobago as a transshipment point is not desirable, according to Director of External Trade at CARICOM's Secretariat Directorate of the Caribbean Single Market and Trade, Dr. Chantal Onowayu. But while addressing 2 separate business forums, the director assured Guyanese businesses that the matter is not being ignored. This is with regard, in particular, to Guyanese honey. Let's take a look at this report.
Guyana for years has been trying to use Trinidad and Tobago as a transshipment point for its honey so that the sweet product can be exported to other Caribbean countries. A decades-old protectionist law in the Twin Island Republic has, however, proven to be a bugbear for Guyana and other countries within the Caribbean community. Though the local private sector has been complaining bitterly about the issue, the Director of External Trade at CARICOM's Secretariat's Directorate of the Caribbean Single Market and Trade, Dr. Chantal Onowayu, says the issue is not being ignored.
That's a perfect example of a matter that, frankly, is consistently on the agenda of the community until it's resolved. It's not that there's a blind eye being turned to it, but it's a complex issue, and its resolution requires certain steps being taken. And the COTED is one of those organs. The Community Council of Ministers is another organ which has a responsibility under the treaty to deal with cases where the CSME isn't operating the way it should.
Still, at a business breakfast on Saturday, local private sector players from the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association again complained about the issue.
Why do we have old laws dating back probably over 50 years that Guyana cannot send its honey to Barbados in transit via Trinidad and Tobago? It doesn't go in country. But this has been a long-standing discussion and debate.
I don't think you've treated fairly with the honey issue. It has been on the agenda of COTED for 20 years, and it's not a complex issue. As a matter of fact, the honey issue is about the removal of an illegal law from the books of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what it's all about.
At another business breakfast on Monday, the matter came up again. There, Dr. Onowayu acknowledged that the extended period trying to resolve this matter on CARICOM's Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED, is not desirable, but there are other avenues for recourse.
This is a matter which they have been deliberating on, because it is not desirable for matters to be on the agenda of the Council for extraordinary periods of time. Adjudication before the court is but one mechanism available when issues arise. States can engage in consultations, states can use the good offices of the Secretary General. States can have reference to impartial third parties like mediators or conciliators. They can refer a matter to arbitration.
In April, Guyana's Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa told the newsroom that the long-standing honey challenge with Trinidad and Tobago remains a bugbear that Guyana hopes to resolve soon.
Well, that would actually be having to amend the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm wondering if the government, the sitting government of the day, whoever it may be, is willing to do that. 20 years now it's been on the books as an issue for CARICOM to try and resolve, and that has not been the case. I wonder why. Anyway, let's move across now to St. Lucia. The Police Welfare Association in St. Lucia is applying pressure for a number of issues affecting the grouping and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to be addressed. These range from poor working conditions to serious allegations of sexual impropriety by officers. This report from St. Lucia.
The Police Welfare Association on Thursday convened a press conference to highlight several allegations surrounding the affairs of the association. One of these is the alleged hijacking of the association's election process by incoming President Cameron Law. The president highlighted the process by which he was elected.
On Friday, 8th February 2023, invitations for nominees for elections were advertised in various locations around the island. On March 13, 2023, nominations were closed, and the Commissioner of Police, Mrs. Cressida Descat-Pellius, was informed of this, as well as the nominees in writing on the 16th of March, 2023. After the 16th of March, we would have informed the Commissioner of Police then that nominations were closed and the branch boards were formed. We did provide her with the names of the personnel who formed the branch boards. Of course, the election of the Central Committee was supervised by a gazetted officer, and that gazetted officer, I know, would have forwarded a call report based on the elections of the Central Committee to the Commissioner of Police.
The second issue at Thursday's conference is the poor working conditions at St. Lucia's Immigration Department, causing much strife for the staff and the general public, with enormous delays for the issuing of passports. President Law says the incoming executive followed the footsteps of the previous executive in having consultation with the Home Affairs Department in bringing the woes of the workers to an amicable resolution.
This issue has been there before 2021, and it continued. For years, the officers attached to the department have been plagued with a multitude of illness, which can be attributed to poor air quality in the work environment, including severe mold exposure. Having realized the issue persisted and only grew worse over time, my executive continued the efforts of the previous executive in bringing some sort of resolution to the matter. In the past, there had been several air quality tests, deep cleanings, repairs to the building, all of which bore no permanent fruits.
Law reveals that the illnesses persist despite the implementation of these short-term measures, with workers falling sick and even being hospitalized due to these conditions. Dialogue with the RSLPF to adequately address the issue has not been forthcoming. The issue of sexual harassment within the rank and file of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force remains high on the agenda of the PWE. A letter penned to the then Commissioner of Police, Cressida Descat-Pellius, concerning allegations of sexual misconduct, according to the President, has not been met with a response.
There were persons in authority who had been made aware through the Welfare Association of these allegations. I thought it was necessary at the time to pen a letter to the Commissioner of Police to look into this matter and to have an independent investigation, or at least to have those members who had reported to the welfare heard. Since then, I have had a conversation with the then Commissioner, Ms. Descat-Pellius, who at the time indicated that she would be responding to my letter in writing. To date, we have not received a response as it pertains to the letter that was forwarded to the Commissioner of Police.
Law says the Police Welfare Association will continue to look into these pertinent issues to allow for a fair and just working environment for officers. For the DBS News World, Jason Narius reporting.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now move across to Barbados. Former Prime Minister of Barbados, the Right Honourable Sir Lloyd Erickson Sandiford, passed away at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital on Monday at the age of 86. This report actually coming out of Barbados.
Former Prime Minister Sir Lloyd Erskine Sandiford was born here in Barbados on March 24, 1937. As a boy, he was educated at the Coleridge and Parry School and Harrison College. After completing secondary education, he left to pursue his Bachelor of Arts in English at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica. In 1967, 1 year after independence, he was appointed to the Senate, but a few years later, he left the upper chamber to run in the 1971 general election, in which he won the St. Michael South seat in the House of Assembly. The DLP, under the Right Excellent Errol Barrow, formed the government, and Sir Lloyd served in many cabinet positions, including as Minister of Education. The DLP, however, went on to lose the 1976 election to the Barbados Labour Party and formed the opposition. 10 years on, in 1986, the DLP was again voted into power, with Sir Lloyd defeating BLP MP Lionel Seymour Craig in the St. Michael South constituency. This was the beginning of his elevation in politics, as Sir Lloyd was made Deputy Prime Minister under the Barrow administration. Just 1 year on, in 1987, Prime Minister Barrow died prematurely, and Sir Lloyd was appointed Prime Minister. Sir Lloyd was considered a steady hand, and as a result led the DLP to victory in the 1991 general election, and went on to assume the additional portfolio of Minister of Finance until 1993. However, it was during this period that the Barbados economy was hit by a recession, and Prime Minister Sandiford was forced to take some tough measures. One of them saw Barbados going to the IMF and salaries being cut by 8% in the public service. Following this decision, Prime Minister Sandiford narrowly lost a no-confidence motion in 1994, brought against him by the opposition, when a number of members of his own party broke ranks and voted in support of the motion. Mr. Sandiford then called elections for 1994, 2 years before they were constitutionally due, but lost to the BLP, led by the now late Prime Minister Owen Seymour Arthur. Over the last few months, Sir Lloyd's health has been on the decline, which has now resulted in his passing. Sir Lloyd leaves to mourn his wife Angelita, Lady Sandiford, a son and 2 daughters. Sir Lloyd Erskine Sandiford, may he rest in peace.
Former Prime Minister of Barbados, Sir Lloyd Erskine Sandiford, passing away on Monday at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital at the age of 86. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a minute before news on the hour. We're going to break in now, and when we return, hopefully we can welcome our final guest for this morning's edition of the program. So stay tuned for some conversations ahead. We'll be right back after this.
Here is the WESN News on the Hour. I am Sarah Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Trinidad and Tobago is currently under an adverse weather alert. Valencia teen drowns in Quay River. Regionally, LIAT issues to be addressed at CARICOM Summit in TNT. And internationally, AI technology cuts the wait time for cancer patients to begin therapy. Now for the details. Trinidad and Tobago is currently under an adverse weather alert. The TNT Meteorological Services says heavy downpours can lead to isolated flood events that may cause temporary traffic disruptions, and gusty winds may be experienced in the vicinity of heavy showers and thunderstorms. There continues to be a high 70 to 80% chance of heavy showers, thunderstorms affecting Trinidad, Tobago and surrounding marine areas. Conditions are expected to intimately deteriorate over the period. Heavy downpours can lead to isolated flood events that may cause temporary traffic disruptions, and gusty winds may be experienced in the vicinity of heavy showers and thunderstorms. Seas can also become agitated, which may hamper marine activities. Also, motorists and pedestrians are advised to exercise caution as the Marva River has breached its banks and will affect some communities. The public is urged to take caution. Affected communities can contact their respective disaster management units hotline. An 18-year-old Valencia teenager drowned while bathing in a river on Monday afternoon. Joshua Simangal of KP Lands was reportedly bathing with a group of friends in the Quay River on Quay Road, Valencia. However, around 4:55 p.m., Simangal started experiencing difficulties. His friends attempted a rescue, but they were not successful. An alarm was then raised, and a passerby assisted in retrieving Simangal from the river. The emergency health services and Valencia police officers were contacted, and the young man remained unresponsive after vital sign checks. A district medical officer examined the body and ordered it to be removed from the Sandy Granny mortuary, pending a post-mortem at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex mortuary. Regionally, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda Gaston Brown described as inescapable discussions with fellow Caribbean community leaders on the future of the interregional airline LIAT. The leaders will be meeting from July 3rd to 5th in Trinidad and Tobago next week for their annual summit, which coincides with the 50th anniversary of the Regional Integration Grouping. Brown has been among those in the forefront, seeking to reverse the fortunes of the Antigua-based airline, which entered into administration in July 2020 following increased debt and the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Internationally, a new type of artificial intelligence technology that cuts the time cancer patients must wait before starting radiotherapy is to be offered at cost price to all NHS trusts in England. It helps doctors calculate where to direct the therapeutic radiation beams to kill cancerous cells while sparing as many healthy ones as possible. Researchers at Addenbrooke's Hospital trained the AI program with Microsoft. It has been a decade in the making, they say. For each patient, doctors typically spend between 25 minutes to 2 hours working through about 100 scan cross-sections, carefully contouring or outlining bones and organs. However, researchers say the AI program works 2.5 times quicker. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I am Sira Ali. Thanks for watching.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Coming up on Nicole Larson Live.
It was in 2018 where something happened.
I got a call. It was his third day. He said, let me tell you what you're going to hear tomorrow. Tomorrow you're going to hear that they have found him. He has floated to the top. He would be decomposed. He would be smelling awful. And I'm listening to him on the phone because he is just giving me the cold, hard facts.
Even though it takes time, time alone will not heal. You cannot heal what you do not acknowledge.
The unconscious socializing is what we need to check, because I was just doing it to avoid being home. I don't want to be in the bedroom because it's not the same anymore.
You can be happy, hurting, and healing all at the same time.
I choose to have gratitude. My soul is safe with Christ. I choose to be, yeah, the grateful one.
An encore of Nicole Larson Live, living in victory every day. Airing on WESN, the content capital, on Sunday, July 2nd at 8 p.m. Don't you miss it.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
As Kevin Hart would say, damn! Why we have so much minors out on the streets? There's an after-school program happening there.
Side women, don't give up. You know, you can become queen one day.
Those companies who are currently looking for their money that they deposited in the Silicon Valley Bank, it's not there. ChatGPT is basically the start of Terminator. Our relationship with the colonial powers is like a relationship with a little bit of abuse that people like to stay in. And we remember how that was. Put in $100 and later tonight, you'll get back $3,000. I promise you. I promise you not. Did you rent an accent while you were across there?
When you're in the proximity of Donald Trump, somehow you adopt his aura.
First of all, I thought that $200 would be more than enough. It's $200.
I was a goat farmer. I had 3 goats. Yeah, 3 goats and 1 cow. You know the name?
No, I don't.
Right, Messi, LeBron, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And the cow named Haaland.
I love Trinidad and Tobago, you know.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. only on WESN, Content Capital.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us this morning as we get into our final conversation. Former councillor and public relations officer for the Barrett area, San Juan and St. Joseph constituencies, Safraz Ali, in a letter dated June 23rd, addressed to the political leader of the United National Congress and chairman of the United National Congress, Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Peter Kanai, respectively, issued his immediate resignation, following which it was announced that he is the PDP candidate for El Socorro, Aranguez North. Well, Mr. Ali is with us via the Zoom platform this morning. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yes, morning. Thank you, Kieran.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. You stated that the United National Congress is no longer the great party you joined and served. You can no longer, with good conscience, remain in an entity that has lost its moorings and service to the people. What justifies your statement, sir?
You know what, Kieran? As I told a previous media house, yesterday was yesterday and today is today. So, whilst I was in the United National Congress, I would have strived my utmost best in whatever capacity or whatever role I would have been elected to or given. However, there comes a point in time when, you know, you have to make certain decisions. And I made a very hard decision at that too. It wasn't an easy decision, and I decided to leave the United National Congress and enter the political race for the local government election in El Socorro, Aranguez North.
Mm-hmm. So not that I'm trying to be unfair to you, because you are now a candidate for another political party. So it's not a matter of trying to be unfair to you, but there needs to be some level of understanding and explanation. And with regards to that, you said furthermore, you mentioned the number of defeats that the party has faced, saying such defeats could have been avoidable had different choices been taken. What are those choices that you refer to in your letter?
So, I mean, it's no secret the 2020 general election would have passed, and there was some controversy with some of the candidates selected and so on. As I said, I really don't want to go into that aspect of things, Kieran, but suffice it to say, I was in the party, I was part of the organization. I mean, my heart still belongs to part of the organization. I still feel a level of sadness that you know, that I needed to take the decision that I took. But, okay, so I'll try to put it like this. I was not selected to vie for the Elscrow Arangwes seat in 2019, and I accepted that decision. I worked with the candidate, and from 2019 to 2023, what passed off as representation at the local government council was an affront to the people, to the residents of Elscrow and Arangwes. So much so when we fast forwarded to 2023 now, and the incumbent got through again, I thought that it was an insult to the people, the residents of Elscrow and Arangwes North. I mean, there were numerous calls. There were numerous calls by the residents to the political leader and other people in the party that serious issues were present with respect to the present incumbent. Yet still, for whatever reason, whatever decision, they decided to go the way of the same person again. And as I said, I had to make a choice between the loyalty to my party, well, at that point in time, that party, or the loyalty to the residents of Elscrow and Arangwes. And you know what, Kieran, the loyalty to the community, loyalty to the country would have trumped over my personal loyalty to the party. I was listening to the cries and the despair and anguish shown by residents. Some even told me that they were not going to vote for the incumbent under the United National Congress. And I thought that that would have been insult to the democracy and the constitutional right of the residents. And I said, you know what, I will offer myself up and provide the residents with an alternative pathway.
Mm-hmm. So, to get a clear understanding, precisely at what point did you make that decision? Is it following, you not being successful in the screening process? And if that may be the case, would you have still been loyal and, in fact, probably not have made the statements that you made about the UNC no longer being a great party had you been successful in the screening process?
So that's a really, really good question. A lot of people are saying that because I wasn't screened, it's sour grapes and hence the reason why all this happened. I'll try to put it in perspective. If any other person, Kieran, was selected, there was another guy called Imran Khan who was screened for the seat. If Imran Khan was selected for the seat, I would have thrown my support behind Imran Khan and work with Imran. Because I know Imran as a resident from the area of Elscrow, right? And I would not have any issues supporting Imran. But yet still the party decided to go with the incumbent who doesn't reside in the area, right? I personally believe local government is about the people in the community. And the best way forward is to have somebody from the community representing the people of that community. We would have had a history with the incumbent for 3 years before, as I said. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
You see me here?
Yes,
yeah?
go ahead, Mr. Ali.
Okay, yeah. I just have to kind of hold up the phone here.
That's fine. That's fine. Go on. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying that that we had numerous issues, and these issues were indicated to the leadership, and yet still, for whatever reason, they decided to go that route. And as I said, I could not have allowed the residents of Elscrow and Arangwes to be subjugated to that type of representation again for another 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that point, Kieran, together with the requests and cries of the residents of Elscrow and Arangwes, that hard decision was made for me to leave the United National Congress and contest. As I said, the loyalty was to the community. to the residents of Elsborough and Arangwest.
So, Mr. Ali, your loyalty lies with the community. You've also stated that your friends and family were urging you to put yourself forward as a representative. If such loyalties are to the community, why not go as an independent? What led you to the decision of going under the umbrella of the PDP?
Right. Again, excellent question again, Kieran. So the choice was to go as either an independent or to join with an existing political party. I looked at the logistics with going as an independent, and a lot of resources would have had to be had. I would have to raise a lot of money for the campaign and so on, which, to be honest, I don't have readily access to for a full campaign right now. And I would have looked at the options, and you know what I said, Mr. Watson Duke, he is actually a man that has the attention of the youth on the ground. I would have looked at his history with East Port of Spain. He was in La Joquita for the general election of 2020, and I looked at how the youths were rallying with him and so on. Somebody did actually reach out from that camp to me, and I had 2 conversations with Mr. Duke, and I realized, you know what, Mr. Duke has the potential to unite the races, to unite the races together for the benefit of our country. Right now, our racial divide is so great that, you know, the two political party system, we are not really reaching anywhere. We need real unity with our citizens for our country to progress. And I think PDP is that vehicle for that change.
If part of your heart is still with the party that you served for 28 years, and the party which gave you an opportunity, that's one part. But if that is the case, as well as the fact that logistically it made sense for you to run under the umbrella of a political party, then it doesn't sound as though your loyalties lie with the community, but rather your loyalty is to whomever gives you an opportunity. And you have faced criticisms for people calling you politically and power hungry, and you are arguing, no, that is not the case. But had any other political party given you the opportunity, would you have taken it?
And the answer to that is no. Because as I said, I made this decision for the benefit of the community and the residents. The thing about it is, making a decision like that is a very hard decision, and you have to do the wherewithal and the necessary arrangements to make sure that you are victorious also. So you can't just make a decision and throw yourself at it and put yourself at a disadvantage too. So I understand the sentiment. I actually see in the caption at the bottom, politically power hungry or advocate for change. I would strongly say that this decision was a decision made in the best interest of the residents and the community of Elsborough and Arangwest.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm curious to know how, and not just with you, I think with any individual, you know, who's been a part of a political party or political entity for years and years and years, has advocated strongly. No matter what side they may cross or whichever side they come from or whichever side they go to, that is entirely their decision. They have that right. It's curious to me, though, and I'm wondering if you can explain this to me. How does one just, you know, you said for the last 4 years, you've realized that there's been a level of misrepresentation. People have been treated unfairly under your particular district. I'm just wondering, though, how does one change allegiance overnight?
No, well, the thing about it, Kieran, it was not change that happened overnight. As I said, the representation that was given by the person was less than adequate, and numerous complaints were coming in, and I actually had to intervene on more than one occasion to get stuff fixed up, right?
Mm-hmm. And apart from that, at what point was there contact between yourself and your team and the PDP? Are you willing to state that?
Yeah. Well, as I said, I was not successful at the screening, and when it was announced that the incumbent got through, I mean, there was an uproar in the community, and I actually was keeping all my options open at that point in time. And someone from the PDP camp reached out to me and said, "Look, we heard what happened, and we want to have a discussion with you to see what can take place." And exactly as I said, I had 2 meetings with Mr. Duke, and I realized, look, you know what, Mr. Duke has the drive, he has the ability to pull the youths together, to pull our 2 races together, and I honestly believe that in moving to the future and the future growth of our country, PDP has the capacity and the potential to do so.
What are your wishes or wants for your particular district of Arangwes? In fact, what more needs to be done?
So,
Mr. Ali, are you still with us?
There are numerous instances where roads are not being maintained.
Mr. Ali, I'm just going to ask you, my apologies there, could you just start over your response? Unfortunately, we lost you for a moment there.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying that there are numerous instances where the roads are not being maintained properly, the drains were not being cleaned on time, there was issues with garbage collections and so on. So I would bring that brand of representation where, you know, the basic core functions of a local government official, elected official, will be fulfilled. So much so that I would want to take it a step further. So, for example, the last 3.5 years, I was actually so immersed.
Oh, it seems as though we're having
the activity that. Sorry about that again. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I was engaged in numerous crime meetings with the residents and the police service and so on. So I am saying that, you know, the cohesiveness and the togetherness of the community, the safety of the community, the cleanliness of the community were lacking, and by me offering myself as a tireless worker for the community, I think we could get it done.
Do you think that you're able to achieve this through this particular campaign, in the sense that you know, I had a discussion with I suppose one of your running mates, Mr. Ford Abubakar, this morning, and one of the biggest issues that is faced not only within Port of Spain but throughout Trinidad and Tobago is the ability, one, to get people to break out of this party mindset, to elect the best candidates, and two, to actually get them to vote. Is that one of the things that you're focusing on in this particular campaign?
Very, very good points again. Yes, yeah. I mean, traditionally we have been faced with a two-party system, either you're with the UNC, either with the PNM, or either you're not voting at all. On rare occasions, you would have like a third party making a difference, like, for example, the COP in 2007, the ILP in 2013, right? So you are correct. But I think the level of frustration faced by the residents on a whole, they are really looking for better representation, representation that will improve the quality of their lives, you know? And when one looks at it logically, and they, as you said, they take a deeper look at the candidate being offered by the particular party, then I think, you know, the decision will be a more informed decision by the resident, one, and two, you are correct. Traditionally, local government would have had a low voter turnout, but I think with this particular one here, I would want to urge the residents that, you know, you have an opportunity to express how you feel the society is being run. at the present moment. And if you don't like how the society is being run, you have options now to vote and to show that interest that you are displeased, you are not pleased at all.
We're more or less out of time. I'm going to squeeze this question in very quickly. Mr. Ali, what makes a great political entity? What makes a great political leader? And what makes a great political candidate? It's 3 parts. You can answer it, please, if you're willing.
So a great political party, okay. A great political party is one that understands the needs of all citizens and takes particular decisions in the best interest of the citizens and not necessarily for partisan purposes. One, what makes a great leader? A great leader is the driver of that political party, and the driver will take decisions to keep the political party on the road of service to the people. And a political representative is the person selected by the political leader from any political party to carry through that mandate. When you have the wrong choice being selected, the system breaks down, and the individual doesn't look good, the leadership doesn't look good, and the party doesn't look good, because the individual, unfortunately, would have been a square peg in a wrong hole, if you want to put it like that. So I don't know if that would answer your question, Kieran.
No, well, it's your answer. So if you're satisfied with the answer, then I'll accept it.
Well, as I was saying, so whenever decisions are being made not for the best interest of the people, we have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Ali, well, we're over time, but I want to thank you very much for joining me on the program this morning. I wish you all the very best in your campaign as PDP candidate for El Socorro Arangwes North. And August 14th, well, I just wish you the best, sir.
Thank you very much, Kieran.
Keep well. All the best. Mr. Safraz Ali, PDP candidate for El Socorro Arangwes North, joining me on AM Prime this morning to give an explanation as to his decisions, his thoughts, and what he's focused on now after severing ties with the United National Congress after 28 years of service, according to him, saying it's no longer the great party that he joined and served. He can no longer with good conscience remain in an entity that has lost its moorings and service to the people. He now believes that the best individual to unite the races and to bring the youth together is the PDP under Mr. Watson Solomon Juka. Also, my father is going to be very, very happy. Mr. Ali referred to me as Kieran, and well, that's my father's name, so he's going to be a bit pleased and happy about that. But make no mistake, my name is Keith Shaw. This has been AM Prime. Wishing you a great day ahead. May it be a productive one, and hopefully it goes good. Walk with your umbrellas and probably your dinghies, ladies and gentlemen, to see the weather's so unpredictable these days. But hopefully it goes well, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. for AM Prime. Stay tuned to the content capital throughout the day, but until then, bye-bye.
WESN